Recently, Blizzard Entertainment decided that they were going to allow Overwatch 2 to be downloaded on Steam for the first time in history. But Steam has a special little something that Blizzard's Battle.net does not have. A little system that allows you to write reviews for games. Public reviews. So when Overwatch 2 finally arrived on Steam, you know exactly what happened next. Steam won't save you, Blizzard, it's over. This company is not worth your money. Hey, come on now, it's an indie company, guys, give them a break. The people who make Overwatch NSFW work harder than the people who make Overwatch. I'm doing my part, Winton. I feel scammed, totally different from the gameplay that I watched on the It's free until you realize the price is your soul. It's funny, I played a game like that one.
Welcome to Team Fortress 2. After 9 years in development, hopefully it will have been worth the wait.
At the time of writing this, on August the 14th, this game has been on Steam for just 4 days, and it has amassed an incredible 105,000 negative reviews. And it is currently the most negatively reviewed game on the entirety of the platform. And it really doesn't take that much digging to find most of the reasons why. Reason number 1, pay $60 for Overwatch, no updates for 3 years, same game gets released as Overwatch 2, characters locked behind Battle Pass. I somehow purchased Overwatch 1 for $40, which Blizzard then deleted and created this predatory microtransaction simulator instead. I cried at the part where Reaper said bye 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 and locked the new heroes behind a Battle Pass and scrapped the story mode. People are incredibly angry that Blizzard has decided to paywall so much content. Overwatch 1 had a $40 price tag on release, and this price tag got you basically everything you needed right out of the box. There were microtransactions, but they were in the form of loot boxes that only featured cosmetic changes. If you didn't care very much about playing dress up for your characters, then the price tag out of the box was all you would have to spend to play Overwatch. But Overwatch 2 has taken a completely different turn. New heroes are locked behind the Battle Pass, so you have to spend money to have access to characters that fundamentally change the way the game is played. The game is free to play now, but the original Overwatch had a formula that worked perfectly fine, and this dramatic shift towards predatory microtransactions has made the player base incredibly angry. But it's a sequel, right? It's not Overwatch, it's Overwatch 2. See, it's like a sequel, so things are obviously not gonna stay the same because the game is like completely different now, right? Reason number 2. Overwatch 2 was supposed to have PvE. It's the reason the game was made. It was scrapped, and now we have a shell of what it originally was. It begs for your money. Heroes are now locked behind a Battle Pass. They essentially scrapped everything they promised for PvE and downgraded the game and are slowly reintroducing aspects of the first game and calling them updates. They forgot to add content for 3 years. Overwatch 2 has no respect for you. It's an attempt to pry open your wallet while masquerading as the game it used to be. The game that it used to be is Overwatch 1, because don't let that little sleek shiny number 2 fool you. This game is a sequel in name alone. Overwatch 2 is a moderately sized update that is called a sequel for marketing purposes only. The only differences between the first game and the second game are the visuals and the fact that PvP is now 5v5 instead of 6v6. That is literally the only major difference. It could have very realistically been a large-scale update to Overwatch 1, but they didn't do that because calling it a sequel generates a bigger marketing buzz. But Blizzard was telling everyone it's fine. You know, right now, Overwatch 1 and 2 are basically the same game. But in the future, they're gonna be super different because Blizzard is gonna add
PvE co-op gameplay.
Blizzard had promised a PvE game mode, a story-driven cooperative game mode where you fight against an invasion of robots or whatever. They released a trailer in 2019 that made the game mode truly look incredible. Super fleshed out, super interesting, and was the entire justification as to why Overwatch 2 had to be a sequel and not just an update. But then, just a few months ago, Blizzard pretty much scrapped the PvE in its entirety. The PvE that was promised was going to be enormous, but the PvE that you're actually gonna get barely even scratches the surface of what was promised back in 2019. And you can actually listen to Blizzard's reasoning as to why they had to scrap the PvE.
With everything we've learned about what it takes to operate this game at the level that you deserve, it's clear that we can't deliver on that original vision for PvE that was shown in 2019.
They just can't deliver on it, and they admit it right to your face. They just can't deliver on it. So people are unsurprisingly very mad at this. The whole sequel thing really did just turn turn out to be a marketing strategy, and the PvE that they promised was either way too difficult to deliver on, or more likely is that it was a complete lie from the beginning, and it was just used to push Overwatch into a free-to-play model where they could make more cash for the same amount of work. So these are the two reasons why people are mad about Overwatch 2. But the negative reviews talk about more than just this, because there's reasons to hate Overwatch 2, but there's also reasons to hate Blizzard as a company. Reason number 3, scam your customers with false advertised garbage games, molest female employees, sell out your pro players to Chinese overlords, molest female employees. The devs respect their players as much as they respect the women in their office. I hope Bobby Kotick dies in excruciating Jesus Christ. I don't know which Blizzard treats worse, its players or its female employees. Just for the record, by the way, it's the female employees. It's obviously the female employees. Blizzard has a very disgusting history with workplace harassment, and this history has gotten them into some serious legal trouble. It would be impossible for me to sum up this scandal in just this video, but let me just give you a small sprinkle of something disgusting that happened that not many people seem to talk about. In 2022, CEO of Activision Blizzard Bobby Kotick had actually delayed the release of a summary of the allegations and how they were dealt with, and this delay meant that 44 employees who were guilty of these workplace abuses were not fired, but instead were disciplined by other means, which, if I were to hazard a guess, means that these employees weren't disciplined too hard at all. 40 people were fired from Blizzard in the hopes that this would be enough to satiate the anger of the general public, but the other 44 were given a slap on the wrist because they were higher up in the food chain at the company. But you know, that's just a theory. I'm no CEO like Mr. Kotick over here, so you know, what do I know? But unsurprisingly, when you harass your female employees and make a terrible product, it makes people really mad. Like, at least when Riot Games do the exact same thing that Blizzard does, they at least produce products that people actually like and enjoy. You know, that sort of thing really helps ease the pain. But there's actually one more reason why there's so many negative reviews on Overwatch 2. A reason that most of us likely won't have ever heard about. And I'd love to read some of these reviews to you, but I actually can't, because they're all in Chinese. I actually found out about this from a user on Twitter called Daniel Ahmed, so thanks to that guy for most of this information, because over 63,000 of these negative reviews on Steam are all written in simplified Chinese. A lot of these reviews say the same things that the Western reviews do. Predatory microtransactions, workplace misconduct, the lack of PvE, you know, all the stuff that you've already heard about. But there's an extra thing that's new. Blizzard was working with a company from China called NetEase for the best part of 15 years. They were doing this to bring their games to a Chinese audience, because selling games in China can be an arduous task, because you have to work very hard to contend with China's National Press and Publication Administration to have your games approved for sale. So NetEase was essentially acting as a distributor for Blizzard's games in China. But Blizzard's deal with NetEase expired in late 2022, and in January of 2023, Overwatch 2, as well as many other Blizzard titles, went completely offline in China, and there has been no suggestion from Blizzard or NetEase that these games will ever return. Millions of accounts lost, billions of hours down the drain, and no method of compensation for the untold amounts of money that the users had spent on their accounts. So many of these Steam reviews are not only mad at Blizzard for all of these other things, but they also have an extra reason to be super angry. Their accounts were permanently taken offline, and the Steam version of the game isn't compatible with their old NetEase accounts. And all of this happened because of a complicated business dealing with NetEase falling through, and Bobby Kotick being worried that a new NetEase deal might affect their new acquisition deal with Microsoft. So without these reviewers being mad about NetEase, Overwatch likely wouldn't have become the most negatively reviewed game on Steam. So we must salute our Chinese brethren for joining our noble fight against the Blizzard tyrants. We won the fight against Blizzard this day. They will never take Steam from us as long as we live. And always remember, brave soldiers, download Team Fortress 2 for free today, because it's clearly the better video game. Thanks for watching.